Hello, Terry. I see that you are here. Happy to have you here. Who else is here? So, a couple of things. So, for those of you that are here live, if you actually tell me today that you're here and if there's anything specific that you need, so whether you have osteoporosis or osteopenia, you have issues like knees, hips, something going on in your body, I'd love to hear about that because when you are here live, it actually helps me share other resources. Like I have a plan for the class, yet when someone comes here and has a specific need, I like to focus on that as well. And we all have knees and hips and a back and whatever it is that you're having an issue with. So more than likely, we will all be benefiting in some way, shape, or form from your suggestion. For those of you that are watching this recorded, try to come live or send me a message. So you could reach out to me you could comment on these videos. I always reply. Or you could visit my Debbie Robinson Wellness Instagram page where I'm interactive there, or join my community, Stronger Bones Lifestyle. It is a lifestyle. What we do every day, all day, affects either bone building or bone dissolving. And in my community, I have cooking classes, experts that come in to speak with us. I do Q&A, and I answer questions when people post questions. Really low monthly fee. I'd love to have you join that. So you could, let me see here, I'll put my Debbie Rob, this is my website, and you could find more information there. Get on my newsletter because I'm always sharing, I think, oops. Oh, wow. Not doing well today. www. Anyway, get on my newsletter so that you'll be a part of what I do. So Terry, anything in particular for you? The topic that my team chose today was safe bending and lifting. And I think that that's a really great topic. And I'm looking forward to sharing a lot of information about that. And let me know if you have any special requests, because then I could share something specific to you and your needs. And if not, then we will do what I had planned. So let me know if there's anything in particular that you need help with, guidance with. All right, so let me go back and do my thing. Oh, let me see, because somebody said something. Knees have been bothering me. Okay. Yeah. Well, we all have knees, right? And so much of what we do in the practice of yoga actually helps many, many joints in our body. When we are thinking of our bones, right? So as we age, there's things that happen. None of us gets a free pass on a lot of this breakdown, muscle breakdown, bone breakdown. We see it on the outside in our skin. We experience it in different ways in our body. So we have to always stay ahead of that and be on top of that. And the practice of yoga is so amazing on so many levels because it deals with the physical body for strength, for space, for increased range of motion. And it deals with the mental body, so dealing with stress and stress management, because that is a big trigger or a stimulator of bone dissolving. So a lot of amazing aspects to yoga, and back to the aspect that this is a lifestyle. Every day what we do matters. So you practicing today is amazing. Whatever you are able to do, that movement, that strength, that increased range of motion, flexibility, focus on posture, that all matters. This practice will focus on safe bending and lifting. Many people that have back issues or have pulled their back or get a twinge or something, it usually happens from bending over and reaching to get something. So when we introduce flexion with rotation in the body, if we don't know how to do proper movements to stay safe, we can injure ourselves. And the thing about an injury is when you injure yourself, you're out of the game of bone building for a while. And so we always need to stay up to speed with supporting building muscles and building bones, especially as we age. And we want to or need to stay safe in whatever we're doing so that we can continue to show up every single day and do something that's going to support bone building. So today we're going to learn, or in this practice, you're going to learn about safe bending, how to bend, and lifting, and what are the body parts, the muscles, the movements that we need in order to keep that safe. So get your props. We're going to use a blanket, a block, and a strap. And today I will be using a chair. When we stand up, I'd like to use a chair. It's a really great prop to help you feel safe, to help you get into the joints in the way that we need for that safe bending in order to create that flexibility and range of motion in your joints, because that's what enables you to bend. So if we do not pay attention to our joints as we age, we lose our ability to bend. So it's called flexion. And teaching yoga therapy over the years, thousands of bodies, that's one of the things I really noticed, and really was one of my biggest first hurdles as a yoga teacher, was how do I teach safely for those that have limitations in bending their knees, bending their body. So the more you can keep flexion or bending in your body, the more mobile you could be, the more you could do for stronger muscles and stronger bones, the less pain you could have, the more active you could be. So today we will focus a lot on what that means, how to maintain that safe range of motion, how to test for it, to notice in your own body that increased body awareness, which is so critical when we want to take care of ourselves naturally. We need to understand, where are we, how should we move, and what should we do? So get whatever it is you need. The first thing we will do is we will actually work on opening our front body, creating space here, because when we do come into some of the bending in the hips, bending in the knees, we need to be careful, and we need to make sure that we are nice and, first of all, hydrated with fluids in our muscles so we stay safe. Also, we want to open up the front part of our body, because life, daily living, closes off the front of our body, shortens the front body muscles. So we're going to begin with opening up our body in a supported back bend. So come down onto the ground. This is the first time you're going to bend today, is when you come down. So when you come down, you could use a wall. You could actually come through a wide squat. Toes are out to the side, knees are out. Make sure, so here we are, step one, don't let your knees cave in. That's weakness, and especially if you have knee issues. Push your knees to the side, grab the floor with your feet, push your pinky toe edges in, and with your tushy, imagine you're closing a drawer behind you. You're trying to close the drawer with your tushy, and that will help you bring your body weight back, not come forward in the knees, because that, when you come forward in the knees, is not healthy for your knees and is painful for your knees. So no forward bending in your knees. You want to push your tushy back, because then it comes into the hips and it minimizes the knees. Push your tushy back like you're trying to close a drawer, and then bring yourself down onto the ground. Keep your head lifted. If your head stays forward, you're less likely to then bend your spine incorrectly, because that is the biggest thing we want to focus on, is not incorrectly bending our spine, which is called flexion. So a bending of the spine is what we want to avoid. So we're going to learn where are all the places we need to put the movement in the joints to keep it out of the spine. So let's come down onto the ground. Take your block off to the side and your strap off to the side. If you have a bolster or something else that you'd like to put behind your spine so that you could elevate yourself, you could do that. A really great thing to do is a blanket. So get a blanket, make it really long so that you have the length of your torso, and then roll that blanket up. Take the blanket onto your mat, and then you come to sit on the mat. So don't sit on the blanket, and come right up next to it so you feel your back is right next to that blanket. And then keep that front spine open. Right now you have a bend in your knees, you have a bend in your hips. We're gonna unbend the hip to come down. You wanna make sure that as you do that, you don't collapse or bend your spine. So right now we're unbending the hip joint, gaze is forward. Bring yourself down, keep your knees bent. So keep your knees bent when you're manipulating your spine. It'll allow for a little bit more movement or opening in your spine, and it will actually keep it more in the middle spine and not overextend the lower lumbar spine, which can be uncomfortable. And then if you walk your feet a little closer to your body, you give even more mobility in your pelvis. Knees touch each other, falling in towards each other. And then arrange yourself here so the blanket is right up the middle of your spine. Close your eyes and feel that. Take your arms alongside you. Lift your body up. See if you can push your shoulder blades towards each other. And then lift your head, tuck your chin towards your chest, lengthening the back of the head and the neck. And then bring your arms out to the side. Now, depending on what's going on in your body, your shoulders, you may have to put your arms lower if it's too much of a pull on the chest and shoulder muscles, or maybe your arms go out to the side, or maybe your arms go a little higher. I'd like you to close your eyes here and notice, start to pay attention, start to raise awareness on what it is we're doing here. So this is the front of your body we're focusing on stretching, yet you're also going to feel things in the back of your body. So bring your awareness here to where do you feel the stretch? Let your awareness go to the areas you feel. So for example, left chest, left shoulder, right chest, right shoulder, right upper neck. Maybe you feel it on one side more than the other. So go to one side if you feel a stretch, then go to the other and compare it. This will be more information for you. Let's do a little to start moving the tension. And noticing also, do you feel it in your belly? Where do you feel it? If you do feel this in the low back, I want you to push your belly towards your spine and try to flatten the low back into the blanket behind you. That will help protect your low back. The two places in the back of the body that will show up for you. So we're mostly stretching the front of the body. We're stretching the chest muscles, the shoulder muscles, stretching the front of the spine, stretching the core muscles, the belly muscles from the lower ribs down to the pubic bone. This is the area that we're stretching. In the back of the body where you may feel this is you may feel it along the sides of your neck, which is where the cervical spine is. You also may feel it at the lower spine, the lower back, because those are the two other parts of the spine, the low spine and the upper spine, that are going to be affected as we stretch the middle spine, the thoracic spine, where your ribs are attached. So noticing the low back, to protect that, you walk the feet closer, you push the belly button towards the floor and try to flatten the low back into the end of the blanket behind you. And feel what you feel there in your low back, take that tension away. And then when it comes to the upper neck, let's start to bring a little bit of movement there, stretch that. Take an inhale here. As you exhale, slowly let your head move in one direction. Go slow, eyes are closed, notice what you notice. Inhale back up to center, exhale the other direction. Inhale back up to center. Exhale. And inhale. Bring yourself up and then enter into the stretch. The exhale into stretch. Notice where you feel the stretch. Do you feel it in the opposite side of the direction you're moving? That's stretching the muscles. If you feel it in the same direction that you're moving, that's more joint related. Muscular also, but joint related, maybe a little impingement, pressing the joint into itself. Just noticing in your body what's going on. And then do one more each direction. Bring yourself back to center. Take a couple of breaths here down to your belly, coming in the nostrils, down the throat, down the length of your spine, all the way to your belly with your breath. Connecting the mind and the body, being in this moment. Increasing your body awareness, breath awareness, present moment awareness. Take one more breath. And then let your breath go. Start to bring some movement into your fingers. Point your kneecaps straight up towards the sky, soles of the feet are on the ground. Walk your feet closer to your body, and then roll off your blanket onto your side. Stay here for a couple of breaths. From here, you're going to take your hand. You're going to push yourself up. So here we're going to use the joints that we're going to use here. Let's try not to use the neck spine. So if you pull yourself up with your head, you're using your neck spine and the muscles along the side of your body. Let's not use those. Let's here use the shoulder joint and the chest muscles, the front body muscles. So take your hand on the ground, push the elbow into the ground, the hand into the ground, and push yourself all the way up. So go ahead and get your blanket. Take your blanket. Fold your blanket. So let's start warming up the body. Do a little bit of weight bearing and a little bit of body awareness in the joints that we're going to focus on when it comes to bending and lengthening those joints, learning how to bend safely. So let's come on to all fours. This is called an all fours position. And when we're in yoga, when we usually start to move the spine here, and in order to stay safe in your spine when it comes to bending, you want to minimize flexion, forward flexion of the spine, especially right here on the thoracic spine. So your hands are underneath your shoulders, spread your fingers. Let's get the alignment nice and aligned. We're going to stretch the wrist joint here. I want you to look down and see your wrists here, then see your elbows, and then your shoulders, and make sure you're stacking those joints. Your knees are directly underneath your pelvis, and your feet are flat on the floor. Don't bend your toes. Let your toenails touch the floor. I want you to push yourself to one side, and then push yourself to the other. Keep your head looking forward. If you want to close your eyes when you practice, you could do that, but keep your head forward. Now you're rolling around in your shoulder joint and your hip joint. These are balls and sockets. The top of the bones are round. And you're also moving in your wrists, so pay attention to what you notice there. Bring yourself back to center. You're going to push yourself forward. You're going to feel more hand and more wrist. And when you push yourself back, you're going to feel more glute, more hip, more pelvic. Forward comes into hands, wrists, shoulders, upper body. When you move yourself back, you go into lower body. You go into your hips, into your glute muscles, into the hip complex, forward and back, forward and back. Go ahead and bring yourself up for a second to give the wrists a little break here. Legs together, a little bit more challenge for the hips when it comes to balance. If balance is an issue, having a wider stance may make you feel more stable. So do what's appropriate for you. Bring your awareness to your hands and let's roll the wrists around slowly, rolling the wrists around in one direction and then in the other direction. And then open and close, open and close, open and close. So stay up here if your knees don't like to bend. So in this position, the knees bending here, this will be potentially a okay place. For some of you, if you're able to go deeper in that knee bend and sit back on your heels, do that. If you're not, stay up here in the kneeling position, whatever feels appropriate for you. So we're going to start to move our spine and learn about what's safe and unsafe when it comes to spinal movement with osteoporosis, because this is really the key of it all, is having this piece of awareness. So the thoracic spine is where the ribs are attached. From here to right about here is your thoracic spine. There's 12 vertebrae here. These are the vertebrae you don't want to flex or bend or put too much pressure on the front of the spine, because this is where all the fractures are in osteoporosis. Right here in the lower thoracic and then the top of the lumbar. So you have the 12 here that are thoracic, you have 7 in your neck, which is your cervical spine, and you have 5 in your lower back, which is your lumbar spine. Lumbar spine, bigger bones, more for stability. Thoracic spine attached to all the ribs. Cervical spine balances your head on top of your body. So let's do some spinal movement to warm up our spine. We're going to warm up the whole spine in a smiley face shape in an extension back bend, stretching the front of the body, pressing the back of the spine into itself. And then when it comes to flexion or forward bending of the spine, no, we're not going to do it here in the thoracic. We're not going to round or bend the thoracic. We can bring that into the lumbar, the low back, and we could bring that into the cervical. So bending your head forward, let's try that. Bend your head forward, chin to chest, chin up. This is extension, making the back bend in the back of the spine. And when you bring your chin to your chest, you are stretching the back of your neck. You'll feel that. It should feel pretty good without bringing it into the next part of your spine. Up and down, chin up, chin down, chin up. When we do the lower back, it's a tilting of the pelvis forward and backwards. So take your legs into that wider stance. As you inhale, relax. And as you exhale, contract your core. Pull the pubic bone up to the lower ribs. Tilt the pelvis back. And that's going to bring the lower back into a back bend, into a forward fold or a flexion position. It's a very small movement. You inhale to neutral. You exhale to tilt your pelvis back. Very small movement. It's a tilting of the pelvis. You might have heard the terminology tucking your pelvis. That is the tilting of the pelvis, and it's a core. You're activating your core. You're pulling the pubic bone up towards lower ribs to get that action to happen. One other thing you could do is you could activate the glutes, squeeze the tushy, pull the tailbone down as you pull the pubic bone up. You're not going to get a lot of range of motion here in the standing position. Try to feel that. This can be a great way to relieve low back tension for those of you that have low back tension. If you're standing for a long time, you feel pain in your back as your body is trying to manage this head on top of your body. Coming into that posterior tilt may be relieving. You can actually activate the tushy, the glutes, and pull the tailbone down. So that is flexion and extension in lumbar, lower back, and the cervical spine here. Now, what you want to maintain to stay safe in your spine whenever you're moving your spine is the safe spinal space. Put your hand under your heart and your hand right around your belly button. This area here, if you keep this distance and you don't bring the hands closer together, then you are not bending that thoracic spine. So when the hands come closer together, it's because you're bending that thoracic spine. The lower ribs start to push backwards. So just try that. Take your hand under your heart and your hand at your belly. And I want you to have your awareness on the lower ribs. As you try to bring those hands closer towards each other, you'll feel lower ribs pressing back. That is what we want to avoid when we forward fold. So when we fold, we want to fold in our hip joint. In order to not bring it here, you've got to push it to here. You need to bring that into your hips. So take your hands in your safe spinal space and push back like you're closing a drawer, and keep your head lifted. Now, another good thing to do is take a little bit of a wider stance with your legs. It'll make it easier. You keep the safe spinal space as you push your tushy back, like there's a drawer here that you're gonna push back, and keep your head lifted, because if your head goes forward, it's easier for the rest of the spine, for the thoracic spine to follow. The average head is about 10 pounds. So push your tushy back, bending in your hip joint. Another visual that may be helpful for you is imagine that there's raw eggs right here, raw eggs where your legs attach to your body, so that as you push the buttocks back, you start to bend deep in that hip joint, which is where we should bend safely for forward folding with osteoporosis. You want to feel like you're cracking raw eggs here. The low belly comes close to the top thighs. Low belly, top thighs. Low belly, top thighs as you bend. And if you go slow, you're going to feel the glutes lengthening. So the big glute muscles are active here. And you should feel this. You should feel that you're actually working. Push your tushy back. Keep that safe spinal space in your front body. Keep the head lifted, the throat lengthened. And just do a couple of more of these. So you're not sitting down, you're actually going back with the tushy. So don't let your tushy go down towards your heels. That means you're bending your knee joint. I want it isolated in the hip. And this is something that I notice all the time. I see at least 100 people a week live in motion. And I notice how often they're either bending their spine or their knees and not their hips. And if you have osteoporosis or osteopenia, strong hips, fracture resistance is right in this area. So let's learn how to functionally move the body correctly. So as you push the buttocks back, pushing the buttocks back, you're going to feel the lengthening of the glutes, feel that work that happens here. Bend that hip joint deeply. Top belly comes closer to top thighs, throat stays open, your torso stays high when you bend. And then bring yourself up. Take a rest here. Either here, you can sit in crisscross, or if your knees bend, come down into the kneeling position. Just close your eyes. Feel inside your body. We're compressing vessels. You're moving lymph through the system. Heart rate accelerates when you start to use muscles, especially large muscles like the glutes, the quads, the lower body muscles. So if you do feel an acceleration of your heart rate, you know you're using muscles. And that means we're going to be working them, getting them stronger, more dense your muscles are, especially your lean skeletal muscle, the stronger and more dense your bones will become. Go ahead and open your eyes. So moving on to stretch, to move our spine and to stretch front body, back body, coming onto all fours. Come onto all fours with the fingers forward. Now, one of the visuals I love is if you imagine that you have a tape taped to your lower spine, you have either a Sharpie marker or a paintbrush. Keep your head looking forward, even if you close your eyes. Spread your fingers, stack the joints. You have your wrist underneath your elbows, underneath your shoulders. Flatten your toenails onto the ground and have your knees be hip distance. Now bring your awareness to the paintbrush taped on the middle or the back of your body. You're going up and down the back wall. Let's paint down the back wall, up the back wall, down the back wall, up the back wall. Now keep your gaze forward, keep your head forward. When you go down the back wall, you're coming into a bend, a forward fold in that low back, flexion it's called. You're going to stretch the muscles of the low back from the lower ribs to the top of the pelvis. Feels good for most people. And then as you go up, you're going deeper in that extension curve, painting a strip or drawing a line up the back wall, down the back wall, up the back wall. So that is flexion and extension in the lumbar spine. Let's do that with the cervical spine. Keep everything else stationary and bring your chin down towards your chest. Feel the back neck muscles stretch, and then your chin goes forward and up. Coming down will be the exhalation. Inhale to open the throat. Exhale. Inhale. Now let's do what's safe for the next part of your spine. The middle spine, it's called the thoracic. Hands are spread. Take an inhale and draw a line up the back wall and bring your gaze forward and let your rib cage push towards the ground. The tailbone is pushing up towards the sky, and the pubic bone, in between the pubic bone and the lower ribs in the front of your body, you'll probably feel a stretch in your belly. This is called extension back bend. We need more of this. Push your fingertips into the floor if you're feeling a lot in your wrists. This is your inhale. Your body is open, throat is open. As we exhale, let's keep it safe for our spine, for osteoporosis or osteopenia. Start to draw a line down the back wall, push your belly button up towards your spine, and then stop there. You could let your chin come to your chest. Do not round your thoracic spine. So keep the thoracic spine in a neutral as you bring the flexion into the lumbar and the cervical. Inhale into extension, a back bend. Exhale, only lumbar and cervical, not thoracic. Inhale, one more. Exhale, draw a line down the back wall, stop at the lower ribs. Chin goes towards the chest, stopping right at the top by the shoulders. Inhale back to neutral and bring yourself up and out. Wrists definitely got some work there. Sitting in whatever position is good for you. Take your hands, let's open and close the hands. And then circles in one direction, circles in the other. So when we talk about safe bending, your wrists need to safely bend, because the deeper bend you could get in your hands, the less likely you are to pull on the wrist bones and fracture them if you slip, trip, stumble, or fall. So keeping that mobility in your wrist joints is important. If you do any weighted work where you do all fours, you're going to be putting a little bit more tension. So make sure whatever it is you do feels appropriate for you. This is an easy thing to do every day to keep that mobility in your wrists and in your forearm, this whole area here, and in your hands, opening and closing your fingers. 25% of your body's bones are in the fingers, 27 bones in each hand, 27 joints. That's a lot. And then go ahead and bring your hands down. So let's come onto the floor, do a little bit more with bending joints and understanding what that means. You'll need your props off to the side. Let's come on to the buttocks here. And here, moving side to side, feel the pelvic bones. And here you have a pretty deep hip bend. You have a knee bend here, and you have a pretty deep hip bend. So let's come into a posture that strengthens our core and can strengthen the aspects of bending. It's called boat pose, Navasana. Take your elbows out to the side. So your elbows are out to the side, lifted. Don't have your elbows down here. Lift your elbows out to the side. Now to activate your core, the base is the pelvic floor. Feel like you're grabbing hold of a blueberry at the bottom of your body. And then imagine you're zippering up really tight jeans and you have to suck your tummy in as you zipper up your jeans. Walk your feet closer, and then bring your feet up off the floor and zipper in those tight jeans. So pulling the belly away, elbows are out to the side, really deep hip flexion here. This is where we want and need to bend safely, is in the hip joint. So pulling the legs towards the chest and the chest towards the legs with the muscles at the middle of the body. Those are the protective muscles that help you bend safely, stay safe. Keeping your spine nice and long, especially the safe spinal space between the heart and the belly button area. If you want a little bit more, trying to take one hand off at a time to see if that's available, or even both hands if that's available to you. Pull the legs towards the chest towards the legs. Keeping that deep bend in the hips. You could add a little bit of a bend in your ankles, pulling your toes towards you, knees towards chest, chest towards knees, arms are long, take one more breath. And then bring yourself out. Go ahead and take a rest. Coming into Baddha Konasana, which is Soles of the feet are together, knees are wide, holding on to your ankles or lower leg bones. This brings a little relaxation into the hips and into the knees. It's an external rotation in the hip joint, knees are out to the side. And then we're also stretching inner thigh muscles, which are a part of the muscle groups that we need to focus on in order to bend safely and to have the freedom in your body to keep that safe bending in your body. So a lot of aspects of flexibility, which is a really key component when it comes to bone health. Take one more breath and then bring yourself up. So we're going to come down onto the ground with that awareness in our safe spinal space. You could put your hands on the ground if you'd like. You could activate your core, bring yourself down, and then come all the way down onto the blanket. Head is on the ground. So doing the groundwork here is foundational, and it's a lot of awareness, but it also helps to keep that strength in your body, and it makes it a little easier to notice bending and focus on bending, especially in the knees when you're on your back. So the first thing I'd like you to do is I'd like you to draw one knee in and then the other knee in. You are bending your hip here. You're also tilting your pelvis back. The low back is pressing into the ground. So noticing that, so the knees are bending, hips are bending, and now the lumbar spine is going into what's called flexion or a forward fold. That's that forward movement of the spine. So bring your feet up into the air. And let's point the feet. We're working first on the ankle joint, noticing movement in the ankle. If for any reason this is uncomfortable, you could even put your hands, go side to side and put your fists underneath your body, or working on the core to hold the legs up in the air. So working towards getting your core to do this for you. Point and flex. Point and flex. Point your toes, flex your toes. Point and flex. This is an ankle joint movement. Now go in circles. Keep your kneecaps pointing back towards the back wall. Don't let the legs move. Look at your legs. Notice the muscles of the calves that get involved here, and then go in the other direction. So we're working on our core. Push your belly button down towards the ground. You can feel like you're zippering up a tight pair of jeans. So that's your ankle joint mobility. Now let's do the knees. Bend one knee and then bend the other knee. We're working our core, holding the legs up like this. You could go a little faster and then pull the toes towards you when you come up towards the sky. You're going to start to get more stretch in your back body muscles, in the muscles of the feet, the Achilles tendon, in the calf muscles, and the hamstrings are at work here, bending and unbending your knees. And then both at the same time. Feel that strength in your body, the core to stabilize the pelvis. One more, and then draw your knees into your chest and side to side. And then put your feet on the floor, hands on the belly, close your eyes, noticing what you notice. And then open your eyes. So in order to properly bend the hip joint, we need to make sure we have the flexibility in our lower body, especially in our leg muscles and especially our hamstrings. So we're going to do a stretch here that's going to stretch the hamstrings and the inner thighs in order to make sure that we have that flexibility to keep ourselves safe for fracture prevention, but also when we bend. So go ahead and get a strap. Want to say a couple of things here about this. When we are stretching our hamstring and we're doing this for bone health, one thing that's really important is you keep that pelvis isolated on the ground. You don't let it tilt backwards. If the pelvis tilts backward, the leg will go backward. This is not about how far back can you go with your leg, because the more you tilt your pelvis, you're going to go far back. I'd like you to stay 90 degrees here, feeling the the pressure of the buttock of the side of the leg that we're stretching. So let's take the strap and put the strap on the sole of your foot. Now do this with a deeply bent knee and a deeply bent hip so that you reach up and you touch your foot. Try not to do this. Try not to give in to breakdown or lack of mobility in your joints. So keep practicing bending and stretching your body to keep it limber. Then come to hold on to your strap here. So I want a straight knee. So if you have to put your leg away from your body to get it straight, then do that. You want to make sure your pelvis is neutral, so your low back is off the ground. If you tilt your pelvis back, then your low back flattens into the ground. We don't want that. So keep a neutral pelvis. And then walk your hands up the strap. Get your hands up so that your elbows are straight. Don't hold down here with the strap, because this way we can also strengthen our hands. So bring the strap onto the left foot and keep the right knee bent. And walk your hands all the way up the strap, and then wrap your hands around the strap. Now, if you'd like to explore straightening that right leg, take that right leg straight. See how that feels for the front of the right hip, for your pelvis, for your body. It may feel good, or maybe you go back to a bent knee, you decide. And then pull down so you feel the left buttock pressing into the floor. Now let's do the posture. It's called big toe pose. Push away your knee and now pull the leg towards the wall behind you. Pull down so you feel the left buttock. Push the leg away and pull back. You may feel this behind your knee. You may feel this right where the round part of the tushy is, right where the connection is of the hamstring on the pelvis. Push the leg away and pull back. Feel that in your body. Push away, pull back. Push away and pull back. And take one more breath. And then go ahead and release. Bend the right knee if it was straight. Take the strap off. Let's draw the right knee in. Put the strap on the right leg. Walk your hands up the strap. Wrap your hands around. Left leg is straight if that feels okay for your body. Pull the foot down to deeply root that right buttock into the ground, and then push the leg away from you and pull the leg back towards the wall behind you. Push away and pull back. Push away and pull back. Push away and pull back. Straighten that leg. Push that leg away from you. Pull down to feel that deeply rooted right buttock and pull the leg back. Feeling this deep stretch behind either the knee where the leg attaches to the body. Push the leg away, pull back, pull down. And take one more breath. And then bend the left leg if it was straight. Take the strap off, bring the strap onto the ground, close your eyes. So let's do the inner thigh stretch. Now we're going to stretch the muscles that attach the pelvis and to the inner knee. So take the strap on the left foot and then hold onto the strap with the left hand, sliding your hand down the strap. Depending on how limber you are, you may need to be near a wall for this foot. You need to be near a chair or put a block or a bolster to hold the weight of your leg. If you'd like, you can straighten the right leg depending on your body, wherever you are in your flexibility. Keep the leg high and then let's lengthen the leg out to the side. Let that left elbow help to support the weight of the leg. Push the right leg down, push into the arch part of the foot, and keep drawing that foot up towards the wall behind you. Stabilize your pelvis, push your right buttock towards the ground. Protect your low back, protect your pelvis. Feel the stretch in the inner thigh. Push into the arch part of the strap and leg goes up towards the wall behind you. Deep breaths here. Really keep rooting down that right side. Do not let that right buttock fly off the floor with the weight of the leg to the side. Take one more breath. And then bring that leg back up to center. Take the strap off. We're going to come to the other side. I'll show you what I mean by the wall. So depending on where you are with your flexibility, it may be too much to let the weight of your leg go. So having a wall or a chair can be very helpful. Let's bring the right foot into the strap. Take your hand down the strap. Straighten that left leg if you can. Keep that right leg high as you lengthen out to the side. So you want to make sure that the foot stays high and it doesn't go down towards your foot part of your mat. So keep your leg high, keep the inner thigh as far away from the opposite quadricep or upper leg as you can. Now, you may need to rest on the wall and not just hanging out, but actively pushing the pinky toe edge into the wall so you feel that stretch on the inner thigh. Keep the leg pretty high. Left leg is pressing into the floor using that pinky toe edge, or you could rest on a chair. It just depends on what you need. Push into the arch part of the strap. Keep that left buttock on the ground, pelvis rooted. Don't let that fly off the floor. Pushing into the arch part of the strap, leg up towards the wall behind you, feeling that on the inner thigh. You're stretching the inner thigh attached to your pelvis and to your inner knee area on your legs. Take one more breath. And then go ahead, bring that up. Take the strap off. Close your eyes, notice what you notice. And then open your eyes. In order to bend safely in your hips and to bend forward so that you could bend, and then especially when you're lifting things, we need a strong back body. So the bridge posture is a great way to get strength in the back of the body. So let's get the block. Put the block in between your legs and then walk your feet closer to your body. Take the blanket away from the back of your head and then push your arms into the floor. Bend your elbows, keep your arms alongside your body. Push your arms into the floor. Lift your rib cage off the floor. Slide your shoulder blades towards each other. Lift the head, lengthen the neck, and keep your arms bent alongside your body here. Walk your feet closer to your body. Toes are pointing forward. Now, tilt your pelvis back, squeeze that block. We're going to come into bridge. We're going to make a strong back bend and using the back of our body to push away from the floor to strengthen the back of the body for that forward folding motion, and then to give strength to hold you upright and to give strength when you start to bend forward to lift things as well. So take an inhale here. As you exhale, push your feet into the floor, squeeze your block, push your hands into the floor, and push your body up towards the sky, as high as you could go, bending your spine. So push your feet into the floor, squeeze the block, squeeze the buttocks, and then really push your arms into the floor so that you're pushing away from the floor so your rib cage could lift as high as possible. And you could bend your rib cage and stretch the front of your spine, that thoracic spine, stretching that safe spinal space from lower heart to the belly button area. Really stretch that front of your spine open. Lengthen the knees away from you. Try to unbend your hips. Use your arms to help lift the rib cage off the floor or press away from the floor with the rib cage. Really strengthening those back body muscles. Squeeze the block, knees are away from you. Squeeze, press your arms into the floor. Squeeze the block, push your feet into the floor, squeeze your arms, really push away from the floor, squeeze the block, squeeze the buttocks, take one more breath. And then release the breath. Start to push the top part of your spine down towards the ground. Squeeze the block, lift your heels off the floor. And then try to press the spine towards the ground letting the lower ribs touch and leave the low back off the floor on your tippy toes, stretching those lower back muscles. And then slowly let the rest of your body come down onto the ground. Bring the blanket back underneath your head and take your block off to the side, hands on the belly, feet are on the ground, knees touch, couple of breaths here. Catch your breath. Take one more breath. And then open your eyes. So in order to bend safely, and lift something or move to get something or to garden or to do a lot of our life activities, we typically bend forward and then rotate our trunk. So we're going to do a posture here to strengthen the rotational muscles that are important to keep you safe when you do that movement. So you'll need a block for this, get a block for this. Have the blanket be underneath your head, and you could, depending on your core strength or your flexibility in your body, you could double the blanket to be a little bit higher. That will make this a little bit easier. So do what feels appropriate for you. Let's get the block, and we're going to be in this distance of the block. So the middle range, not the flat range, and not the long between. We're going to do this here. So it's going to go between the lower foreleg. It's going to go like this. So draw your knees in and put the block in between the legs, flex your feet, and then bring your legs here to a tabletop position. Hands are alongside your body. Now notice when you're like this, the inclination of the low back to fly off the floor. You need to activate your core, zipper up tight jeans. You could tilt your pelvis back and press your low back to the ground to protect yourself. And then you slowly start to let the weight of your legs go to the side to where you feel you can maintain this in a hovering position. Once you get to where you're going to get to, that's where we're going. Press the block. Press your belly button towards your spine, activate your core, zipper up tight jeans, pull the belly away from the zipper of the jeans. That's what the feeling, so you get that activation of your core. Pull that pubic bone up towards lower ribs. If your low back is unhappy, tilt your pelvis back and try to push the top edge of your pelvis in this direction you're in towards the ground. If you'd like more, you could unbend your legs. You could go a little farther if that's available to you. Do what feels appropriate for you. Pull the toes towards you, squeeze the block, activate the core. Take one more breath. And then bend your knees, draw your knees to your chest to come back to center. Hold on to your knees, bring them closer to your chest, let the back go onto the ground. Feel and notice here what feels appropriate for you. So take a little rest here. And then let's come into the other side. Flex your feet. Start to move in the other direction to where you feel, yes, I could safely stay here for a period of time. Zipper up the tight jeans, activate the core. You could press that side top, pelvis towards the ground. You could unbend the legs if that's available to you. Go a little farther if that's available to you. Whatever it is you'd like to do, and squeeze the block, pull the toes towards you. Working those rotational trunk muscles, the core stabilizers, that keeps you safe when you're forward, bending forward to lift something, or especially if you have to reach to the side to lift it, adding rotation. Good for pickleball, for golf, for tennis, rotational sports. Take one more breath. And then bring yourself back to center. Draw the knees into the chest. Take the block off to the side. Rock side to side. Feet on the floor, catch your breath. The more muscles you use, the harder the postures that you're practicing, the more your heart rate will increase. And then draw your knees into your chest. Come onto your side. From here, you're going to push yourself up. Push away from the ground and bring yourself all the way up. So moving on, bring the block or bring the blanket underneath your knees. Let's clear your space before we stand. So let's do the plank posture. Plank strengthens the front of the body. So you could choose to do the full variation of plank, or you could do a forearm plank, modification. You could have your lower body on the ground in plank. So you choose what's right for you. Spread your fingers, stack your joints, wrists, elbows, shoulders, and then bring yourself into plank. Spread your fingers here. Look down at your fingers. Make sure that you have pressure in all the fingers, and then pull the pubic bone up towards your lower ribs to really protect that low back here. If you'd like, you could come into a three-legged plank, lifting one foot off. Really push away from the floor with the foot, push away with the hands, and then switch if you're doing the three-legged variation. Make sure you're bending all the toes. Don't let your head hang. Both feet down. Really push through the heels. Push your hands now. Push away strongly with the hands and with the feet, resisting that pressure. Take one more breath. And then bring yourself down. Whatever seated position feels best for you to catch your breath. Close your eyes. Breathe down to your pelvis. Take one more breath. And then open your eyes. So we're going to come to standing through a pretty deep squat, strengthening the aspects of what we need to have strong for safe bending along the way. Starting with your blanket on the ground. Now spread your knees wide, spread your feet wide. Flip your toes under. So I'd like your feet to be all the way to the edges of the mat. Don't let your feet be close together. Take your feet wide to the edges of the mat. Take your hands, spread your hands wide. Then you're going to push your body weight back and lift your knees up. Now you're bending your hips really deep here. If you had raw eggs between your pelvis and your legs, you would be cracking those eggs. And then push one heel at a time towards the ground. Your head is forward. Don't let your head hang here. Really deep bend in your hips. And then bend your knees and start to walk your hands back until your feet touch the floor. And then you bring one forearm at a time up onto your thighs. Now you're deeply bent here. Feel like you're pushing back to close a drawer with your buttocks. You're going to feel work here in the buttocks, work here on the leg muscles, deeply bending that hip joint. Bending the knees as well, but most of this is in the hip, which is where we need it to be to stay safe. Now look forward. And then push your body weight back so that you can lift your toes up. Make sure your feet are the width of the mat. If they're not, take them a little bit wider. And then painting a wall, a line like down the back wall as if you had a Sharpie marker on your tail, getting a little bit of safety to come in there to that low back. You're going to feel that in the glute muscles. Gaze is forward. Bring yourself back to neutral. Let's take one hand forward and then switch. Put one hand on top of your thigh. Hand forward, gaze is up, your body is up, you're bending really deep in your hips, working those strong muscles. If you can take both hands off, bring both hands back, both hands off. One more. And then slowly bring yourself all the way up. Unbending your hips to do so. Let's move the blanket off the mat. And then come to rest, catching your breath in a mountain posture. Big toes touch or slightly spread. Hands are down alongside your body. Push your heels into the floor. Push the ball of the foot into the floor. Lift the toes. Spread your toes and then place your toes back down on the ground. Hands are down. Push the top thighs back. Neutralize your pelvis so tailbone points down. And then lengthen the front of your body. Lift your heart. Lift your rib cage. This is mountain, posture of alignment. Noticing that there is no bend. This is stacking your joints. Your ankle is underneath your knee is underneath your hip. Your pelvis in alignment, and then the spine grows out of your pelvis. Your sacrum and coccyx bone, the tailbone, is in your pelvis. And then you have your lumbar spine, low back. You have your middle spine, which is your thoracic, the one we don't want to bend or round. And then you have your neck spine, which is called your cervical. Reach down with your hands, push back. Take one more breath. And then go ahead and release. Grab a chair. So we're going to use a chair for this next movement. Keep 2 legs of the chair on the mat. So in order to stay safe, you don't want the chair to fly away. So make sure at least the 2 back legs of the chair on the mat, and you need the long part of your mat. No socks, no shoes, and nothing that's going to be slippery. And then you're going to take your legs wide. Come as wide as you can. You have the chair here to help you. So come as wide as you can. Keep your legs straight. Pick up your left toes. Keep that left leg straight and turn that left leg to the left. Pick up the right heel and move the right heel away from you. So learning how to bend properly in the hip and in the knee, really important when it comes to forward folding. Take your hands on the chair. Bring your awareness to the back right foot, the pinky toe edge. Want you to push away from that right foot as you lower down into that left foot. When you come down, make sure your knee is on top of your ankle. You don't have the knee forward of the ankle. If you do, then you need to walk that left foot forward a little bit more. Bending the hip. Bend the hip so your body goes straight down and not forward. Keep yourself down. Shoulders are forward, back, and up. And if you can bring your hands off, bring your hands off. This is a warrior 2. Look down at that left knee. Push the left knee to the left. Don't let it cave in. Push the left heel into the floor to activate that left glute. Push that right leg straight, pinky toe edge, long spine. Squeeze your tushy, pull your tailbone down, long spine, and push your arms back. Look over the front middle finger. Push the shoulders away from the ears. Slide the shoulder blades towards each other. Go as deep as you can to strengthen the muscles of the lower body that you need to have strong for safe bending, safe forward bending. And when you're safe in your joints when you bend, that will actually protect your spine when you start lifting things or doing sports that have rotation. Take one more breath and bring yourself up and out. Feel that work in that left leg. Toes go forward. Pick up the right toes, turn the right toes away, and left heel away. Bring your awareness to the left foot, grab the floor, activate that pinky toe edge. And then as you push down on your chair, bend your hip as you push away from that left leg. Right hip bends, right knee pushes towards the right. Let it stay in alignment. The kneecap goes right over your toes to whatever lower position you can go to. If you need to walk the right foot forward because your stance was too narrow, we'll walk a little wider. And stay down here. Bring your awareness to your hip. You're bending your hip. You're bending the knee, really bending that lower body. Shoulders are forward, up, back, and down. Arms come up. Push away from the left, straighten the left leg. Bend the right leg a little deeper if you can. Push the right knee to the right. Lower the shoulders from the ears. Slide shoulder blades towards each other. Look over that front middle finger. Mouth is closed. Breathe in and out through your nose. Push away from the left. Go down through the center as you bend that right hip. Push the right knee to the right. Take one more breath. And then bring yourself up and out. Come all the way out and shake your legs. Take your chair in front of you. Let's practice that safe folding here. Feet are a little bit wider than hip distance. So hip distance, the feet would be closer because the front of the hips are here, not here. So a little bit wider than hip distance, which is probably more in alignment with the outside of your body. Look forward. Your chair is here. You're going to put your hands on your chair pretty wide. You're going to push your tushy back like you are closing a drawer. This is how you bend safely. You forward fold in the hip joint, not in the spine. And if you don't grab onto the chair, just push down onto it. Keep your throat open, and I want you to feel what's happening in the glutes. Now we're standing doing this. It's going to be a little bit more tension. Notice how you feel here when you bend. It's the hip joint that's bending, not the knees. Bring yourself forward a little closer to the chair. Now, this is the improper way to bend. You don't want to bend in your knees. My body weight's going forward. I'm bending forward in my knees, and there's nothing happening here in my hips. I'm bending in my knees. That's unsafe. You want to bend in your hip. My knees are barely moving. It's all in the hip joint here. Bending in the hip. Now you're a little closer to the chair. Not holding on to anything if you can. Arms are out to the side. Pushing like you're pushing a drawer closed behind you. Bending that hip joint. One more. And then turn that chair around. Now, if you were going to bend down to get something, you would bend pushing your buttocks back like you are closing a drawer to get something. And it could be if you're doing something like gardening, take a wider stance. Push the buttocks back to grab something, to bend, to get down, to go all the way down to the ground. Whatever it is, you want the bend to mostly be in your hip and not in your knees. You don't want to bend forward to grab something because then the spine will get involved, and that is what we don't want. And then if you bend safely, push your belly button to your spine, then you can rotate over to reach down and get something as you're bending. Really important that you learn this, that you learn that it has to stay in your hips, not in your spine when it comes to safe bending. So let's do one more posture that's working posture. Coming to the front of the seat, we're going to do chair pose because that is the proper function of bending in the body. So take yourself to the front of the chair, walk the feet back, squeeze the legs together. Let's bring the arms forward and wide as you bring your body forward and then push your heels into the floor and lift your tushy off the floor, off the chair. And then bring your arms up and wide, or bring your hands together in prayer, or bring your arms out to the side in a scarecrow position. Push back like you're closing the drawer. The bend is in the hip, barely in the knees. And then toes can come up off the floor. The deeper you bend in the hip, the more work you're going to put into the lower body. Keep your spine long. This is called chair pose. And it is the posture that's going to work on that proper function of the lower body when it comes to safe bending for bone health. Take one more breath. And then bring yourself all the way up and all the way out. So let's do the last posture, which is Shavasana. So let all that sink in. Shavasana is also called a posture of integration. So when you do a practice, you want to let all of that sink in, all those new movements, the space, the flexibility, the strength, and everything that was created during the practice. So bring yourself down in whatever position feels appropriate for you to do your final rest, your Shavasana, and make sure that on your way down, you bend your hips to get down to the ground, to bring yourself into that posture, keeping your spine safe, really being aware of how you're moving. If you'd like, you could draw your knees into your chest if your low back is not happy, or let your limbs go up in the sky and just let everything settle. And then come into final rest. Gently begin to deepen your breath. Start to bring movement to your hands, your feet. And then bend the knees, bending the hips. Draw the knees in. Feel the hips bending deeper. Pelvis tilts back, low back pressing into the ground. Like knees are wide and rock side to side. Bring yourself onto your side. And from here, push yourself up. To close the practice, come into a easy seated position. Bring your hands to your heart. Sit nice and tall in your spine. Lengthen your back neck. Lengthen your whole spine. Slightly tuck the chin down towards the chest. Push it back so you lengthen the upper neck. Let's close with a gentle humming sound. Take an exhale. Inhale deeply. Bowing in gratitude. All right. So that's us. Now we know how to safely fold, forward fold. So any questions, comments? Anyone here that I didn't know was here that wants to say hello? I'd like to hear from you. Terry, and a lot of that hip work that we did is going to help knees. So hopefully you were feeling good during that practice, even the strong parts of that practice. Kathy, great. Good. Nice to know you're here, Kathy. I love the little queen symbol, queen number 1 and queen number 2. Good. Perfect. All right, ladies, thanks so much for joining me. I will see you when I see you. Have a great day. Bye-bye.